Oh no! Beta!
Alright, this is a Sony convertible Betamax VCR that I picked up. It's pretty disgusting, stored in a garage, all that good stuff. A little bit of corrosion on the inside, not too bad, it still seems to work just fine. The only problem I found was a bad belt for the capstan, but it turns out the capstan motor was also seized. So I pulled the motor out, tried oiling it. It sort of helped, got it unstuck, but it still is like gunk moving around in it that'll still jam up here and there. So I've just been working it in, oiling it more, running it, oiling it, running it, blah blah blah, back and forth. Alright, so this seems to be running better and better as I just put oil on it and let it spin. You can sort of see the set screw moving around, but in real life that's just the shutter catching it. I can't even see it. So what I'm doing now is I just want to see if I can get a picture, and I'm going to spin the capstan manually, just sort of like that, a little bit through, and we'll see if we get a picture. Well, that's a good sign. Awesome. I'm just going to keep working this motor in, see if I can work all the gunk that sometimes shows up in this out. Hopefully, maybe.
You're losing this demo, but I'd like to get out to my place before dark. Oh, sure, suit yourself. I've been taking care of your account for 3 years now without knowing who you were. I think I could wait a little while.
I forgot this thing won't play beta 3.
I pay my bills and...
I had to spin start this motor, but it is working. Problem is, if I say hit stop and then I start it again, oh, it actually started that time. Well, it typically won't, so if I can't open this thing up, I need a replacement, and they're expensive. They're like $60 plus shipping on eBay. Like, it's stupid. And it seems like they all have this problem. If they sit for a while, then they go bad. So, yeah, I don't know. Not really sure what to do about this. I'd love to open it up. I might just get like a cutter and just cut those tabs off, and then screw it. I'll figure out a way to secure it later. That's actually got a pretty good picture. Of course, it blanks when it was when it's paused. So I'm playing a Beta 2 movie on here. And I believe if I go and hit one of these buttons, it's just going to stop, isn't it? Yeah. Once I give the capstan a push start though, and just like leave it in place, it works. It's just when I move it, so there's a little shaft, and if I move the shaft up and down, then that stirs whatever gunk is in there, and it'll get gummed up again until I respin it, and then it'll work for a while until that gunk works its way back in. But yeah, that's a good picture. Let's put it on the big TV. Well, the picture is not great. I had to crank the brightness on this, but does seem to work. It's got the stupid 3.5mm audio out jack on the back, so I had to do a bunch of conversions. This might be the only machine that I currently have up and running to play Beta 1. I'm gonna get that Beta 1 tape. This motor really doesn't like spinning at Beta 1 speed. Oh my god. Not a happy camper. Come on. Whoa. There you go. There's some Beta 1.
Here comes both sides of Dolly Parton. Sometimes she's country. Sometimes she rocks. Whatever her mood, Dolly Parton is pure entertainment.
This seems to be working just fine. I'm gonna say the only real problem with it is this seized motor. If I can find another one of these, this machine's working great. Like, other than clean the inside, I haven't actually cleaned the heads yet. I'm bad at this. Bad at not cleaning the heads. I haven't cleaned the heads yet. Screw it, whatever. These are all just test tapes. I don't care about this.
This is the very best of Dolly Parton.
So, I mean, yeah. I wonder, I have a Zenith beta. It's the Zenith top-loading version of the SL-3000. I wonder if it has a motor here. I mean, this was stored in a garage and it was stored in a shed, so they both don't have, you know, a great chance of working, or this motor working, but it might be worth a shot. If anyone knows where I can find one of these for what I would consider a reasonable price, cheap, let me know. Because this is not a very usual machine, this VCR. It's quite unusual. I'm going to put the VTR portion back together so I can show it in its true form, but it might not be able to play when I do that. Oh, some burnt out neon bulbs. Yeah, it might not play because I've been having to reach my hand in here, move this circuit board out of the way, reach my hand in and give it a good spin to start it. Okay, this song is playing the same, or this tape is playing the same song on repeat. I think this is one of those, I've got another one. I think this is one of those tapes that they just put in music stores that would just like play the same music video and then in between be like, oh, this compilation or this album is out. I have another one that I would love to upload to YouTube because it's just like K-Tel commercials of their compilation albums interspersed with music videos from like the early 1981, 1982 era, and it's awesome, but you know, I can't upload that because music and copyright and stuff. But that other one that I have is in beta 2. This one is in beta 1. Okay, I might be wrong about this. I saw a brief instance of like a cop show at the end of that before it just went back and repeated the same song. So somebody just recorded the same thing over and over again. The label says Dolly Parton Beta 2, which is wrong because this is in Beta 1. But they just recorded off one of those tapes that I was talking about and just repeated the same song again. Someone really liked this song and just wanted to put this tape on repeat in the best quality possible and enjoy themselves. Why? Why, Sony, did you use flat blade screws everywhere on this machine? Like, everywhere. They're all flat, and I don't understand it because the tuner module was all Phillips. Did Sony maybe have a special screwdriver that they sold their technicians that had a little bump in the middle to work with these? Because that sounds exactly like something Sony would do. Now, where the fuck did this go? There it is, on the underside. I only had to take this whole bloody thing apart again with these flat blade screwdrivers, dropping them into the mechanism, dropping them into the mess of wires. Ooh, yeah. Still blown away at the condition of these belts. Like, that is, I would rate this superb condition. Absolutely wonderful. The only belt other than the capstan belt that I think would need replacing is that one there for the tape loading. So before I button this up, I'm sure some people will want to see this mechanism do its thing, so get a nice look in there. Fast forward. And rewind. Idlers aren't exactly in the best shape. And what are the chances play will move? Very low. But that's play. Pause will engage and disengage the pinch roller. And then stop just pushes this white thing. Well, some videos are successful, some aren't. Unfortunately with this one, the capstan motor is in serious need of either replacement or rebuilding. Did I not pop this back on correctly? It's got a bit of a curl to it. Who knows? So it's unfortunately not in working shape right now. You can see that the tuner's working at least. Tuned in a UHF station there. So you have your input select, line or tuner. Program select, which turns on and off the RF modulator. Here's a array of programming buttons for setting the timer. It's got little individual LEDs for each day of the week, which is kind of neat. And you can zero the second, I guess, to get it exact. It's kind of neat. And the model number is the SL-3000, which I believe encompasses both of these. This is actually labeled SL-3000, and this one's labeled TT-3000 for the tuner timer unit. This contains the power supply, the clock and timer, and the tuner, very similar to a lot of these convertible sets. And this has the really harsh eject. Like, if you've watched Technology Connections video talking about how wonderful the Sony was, look at that. Like, just, yeah, not so elegant. What's interesting is this came with the battery. The rechargeable battery, which I will now insert a picture of right now. I'm not even gonna try to see if it's working or not, because, like, really, who cares? I think this is where an RF modulator unit would go, because what's interesting is a lot of these old Sony units, the RF modulator was a separate removable component. And this, if I spin all this mess around, has, oh no, sorry, it's on the side here, has an RF out. So I think you could get an RF modulator for this. So this could basically act as a playback unit, and you could hook it up to an older TV directly without the need for this on its battery, and you could get a picture through this RF out. Additionally, it's got video out and the 3.5mm jack that Sony used for audio. The tracking adjustment just seems archaic. It's this pot metal thing that you spin, and it's got a little spot in the middle there. Like they really weren't planning on you to ever have to adjust this. The front, you have your stop, which is that white piece I was pushing. Your regular controls, like all old VCRs, it has an audio dub function. Pause is electronic. It just disengages a solenoid that moves the pinch roller and lights up this little light. Not sure what standby is. I think it's if you hit record and then you pause using the camera. You have your mechanical counter, battery indicator, which obviously in this case will be in the red because, yeah, with no battery. And this giant horking connector, shut this off, that you pull this little collar out like that. It unplugs, and this is a built-in cable that comes from the timer tuner unit. So, yeah, just plugs back in like that. And yeah, you'd unplug this unit here and I guess plug the camera directly into there. But that means you could also plug the camera directly into here when this is plugged in. So it's needlessly complicated, just like Sony enjoys doing. Oops, let's go back to there. And it's big. Like, just to give you perspective, here is a Betamax tape or beta tape on top of this. If you just look at the sheer size of this, like I've seen convertibles, mostly VHS convertibles in the past, and they're big, but they're not this big. This is absurdly big. Just massive. It's interesting that it's black and sort of a dark gray color. You don't really see a lot of that from the era. I think this is like 1979. I saw a 1980 date in there, so right around 79, 80. So now I've unplugged the two cables that come from this. This is power and this is everything else. You can see this has the little door for your tuner setup, same as all the Sonys of this era. And let's flip this around to the back. This is not an easy unit to move around. Here's your standard VHF in, VHF out, UHF in and out at the time. Here's where your RF modulator unit went. So that's where you can set your channel 3 or 4. It's very common for older Sonys to have this, and I think a similar unit went into, or maybe even the same unit went into this. In fact, you could probably take this out of here and just relocate it to there. That's probably why. That's probably the idea, is that to save money but allow you to output onto a TV channel on the portable unit, you just remove this and move it into this compartment right up here. Okay. Your standard video in and out, audio in and out. Sony loved using this 3.5mm jack for whatever reason. Here's the two cables that went to the VTR unit. And like all of the VCRs of this era, it's got a wonderful little plug that you can plug your TV into so you don't use an extra outlet. Sony tuner timer. A lot of C instruction manual stickers all around here. You have a question about this? See instruction manual. 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 Well, that's it. If I ever do decide to get this motor apart in the VTR unit and get it repaired, I'll do a follow-up video. Or if I'm lucky enough to find another motor that'll work in this. It's kind of neat. This plays beta 2 and beta 1 and records only in beta 2 and will do nothing with beta 3. And this, when this was made, 1979, 1980, Sony had models that were capable of beta 3. So I can kind of see why there's not a lot of this model left. It's kind of useless. Like, beta 2 won't give you much. People used a lot of beta 3. And to have this VCR that's essentially incompatible with any of that. I mean, this can just play pre-recorded movies, or if you're lucky enough to have something recorded on beta 2. So yeah, it's kind of, well, I mean, I'm calling it useless. All of these are useless in today's day and age. There's not a lot of use for these. But yeah, at least it has a nice VFD clock up here.